podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Hello and welcome, dear listeners, to the voicemail edition of Achtung Millwall after last night's magnificent steamrolling of Birmingham City at the Den. A night of full Millwall chaos that Gary Rowett used to hate. Joining me before we switch over to the voicemails is show regular Graham Payne. Did you enjoy yourself last night, Graham, at the Den?
I did, Nick. I really enjoyed it last night. That was a proper Millwall chaos atmosphere and everything, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
You know, after Saturday, it was just a pick me up we needed, I think.
I was just about to make the point that there's nothing more Millwall from swing from extreme to extreme. We've come from Saturday's dull, lifeless kind of limp performance. But we were full on it last night from kickoff, really. We were at them, pressing high. And with a lineup initially, I don't know how you saw the lineup, I wondered what we were going to be doing and how it was going to work. But fair play to Alex Neil. That's why he's paid the big bucks. And he picked an 11 that really produced the goods last night.
Yeah, I mean, again, whenever we've had a bad result, like normally we've come back straight away with a good one. And as you said, when that team got announced last night, I was worried about, we don't know what's the extent of Taylor's injury.
No. A foot issue apparently, but I don't know what that means, whether that's like long term or what. But. And
also, I've been on this show and had a dig at Langstaff, but I think it's getting to the stage now where Langstaff has forced his way into the team, and he's got to stay in the team because he gives the energy up the front. He leads the press.
Well, he does. I mean, he has. And I've got to say, for a player that's shunned, and every time there's any kind of transfer window, it's, people online, move him on, no use, League Two, blah, blah, blah. We've all seen it. We've all read it. He's shown real bollocks to stand his ground and force himself into the manager's reckoning, because that's, he did a great job last night. His industry, his running, his involvement in the game was I mean, from the whole 11, I would say, but it was part of that. And you've got to take your hat off to that kind of, backbone and spine, Graham. It takes a lot of depth for a player, in my opinion, to do that.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, he unfortunately, whether he can score regularly at this level, I've still got my doubts. But in that 10 role, they're talking about, Negri and Bannon. I think he's the best one of the three at the moment. I do.
Well, just for sheer energy.
Energy, and he just gives the team, the push from the front when they're closing people down, which wasn't happening on Saturday at all.
No, it didn't happen at all. It did happen last night. Let's run through the team from back to front. A 3-0 win, listeners, as you'll all know. 3 magnificent goals in their different ways. But underpinning that was the performance and the crucial save by Anthony Patterson. I mean, I was very sceptical of dropping Max Crocombe, Graham. I don't know whether Crocombe would have made that save as well. I think he might have done, but it was a great save. There'd been an incident, I think Coburn had gone close at one end, and then almost on a break in reply, Birmingham created probably their best chance of the game, really, which was that shot in from the left flank. And Patterson had to get down very well to bat it away and keep it to 0-0, because not every goalkeeper can do that. But he did that last night very well. That was a crucial save, I thought, to keep it 0-0 at that point.
It was. And when I've looked back on the highlights, the guy, I can't remember who his name is, the Birmingham player, he made a
Stansfield?
Stansfield. He should have squared it to the guy in the middle.
Yeah, he had options.
He didn't. Yeah, and Patterson pulled off a good save. Yeah, it was vital.
But, I noticed Jay on the 1885 show praised Jake Cooper's work there, which when you look at it, the way he lays it out, closing down spaces and inducing doubt, he puts that kind of element of doubt in the striker, where he's taken on an angle. You're right. I mean, he had options in the middle, but he's taken on the shot because maybe Cooper's just put that kind of element of uncertainty into his thinking there. And Patterson did very, very well. I mean, the whole back line last night, from Leonard coming in, stepping into Kramer's role, if you want, this season, did very, very well. Kramer and Cooper, as we might have expected, performed very, very well. And I like Zach Sturgeon, that left back row, brings pace and power to the position, which again, we lacked on Saturday, Graham, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought he had a very good game, Zach Sturge, last night.
I like him. I like him a lot. Real energy, and that whole back line performed as you would have expected it. Everything we didn't get Saturday, we did get last night, including from Casper and Billy in that kind of defensive midfield two that we play. When I saw the lineup with Langstaff, I thought, well, are we going 4-4-2 with Coburn and Langstaff in the kind of Morrison and Gregory roles? But no, we weren't. It was your full-on 4-2-3-1. What a player Femi Aziz is, Graham. Top drawer. Magnificent opening goal, caught on the volley, half volley. I thought the goalkeeper got enough on it. Their goalkeeper, Jeremy Beadle, without the fingertip. I thought he'd got enough on it to tip it over the bar, but he didn't. He got enough on it to tip it into the top right-hand corner. Magnificent goal to open the evening's account.
Well, Kramer had done well to get the header back to him, and where I sit, I was right behind it. And as soon as it left his foot, I said to my mate, "That's in," and it was a fabulous strike. And whatever you say about Aziz, maybe he has been off it the last few games. He's got that ability to do something in a split second to change the game, and that's why he's our top player, because he can do that. And
he can do that. He's got that talent. He loves the acclaim, and I don't say this is a bad thing, listeners, but he loves the acclaim of the big time, and that's what he's in the game for, in my opinion. He can do it. What's the old Muhammad Ali saying? It's not bragging if you can do it. He can do it, and I think he's a top player. We're having this debate in the pub afterwards, Graham. I want to get your view. I mean, there was clearly interest in Femi Aziz over the transfer window. You can take your pick from the numbers of money bid for him, but let's go conservative. Someone was talking about 20 million from Bournemouth. Let's go with a conservative 15 million that was being banded around. That to get a slice of that kind of money would play on your mind if for reasons that you don't control the club, opt not to take the deal. Fair play to Millwall for opting that. I think it would play on my mind, wouldn't it? If you didn't get a slice of £15 million worth of action, it would, that's life-changing money. He's got to be thinking that could have changed me and my family's position in life, and to miss out on that, it would certainly stick in my mind. But last night we got the Aziz of old. He was back in the game again, and I think he's taken the mature view that the Premier League lies not very far out of touch, whether it be with Millwall or in the summertime when someone's going to come calling for him again, I think. It would certainly stick on my mind, wouldn't it, you? Yeah,
it would be on my mind, Nick, but I'm sure the club have probably said to him, cards on the table, if we don't go up, you're going
to go. Yeah.
You can go.
I've got to say, Kramer too, Graham. Kramer must be on having similar conversations, mustn't
he?
Yeah. So there we are, but we certainly, I couldn't fault either Kramer or certainly Aziz last night for application, sheer talent. The free kick when it came in for number 2, that was a blast. I mean, where I sit up in Birdship Corner, you got a real sense of the power of that free kick and batted onto I think the goalkeeper touched it onto the post and it fell into the path of the man we keep talking about, Tristan Kramer, who slotted it away like a striker. That was not an easy finish to take on and put into the net there. It had to be done, and he did it.
And that was just nice. 2-0. I think, that was just brilliant then. We were well on top then. And,
and they had that chance early on. They didn't really produce much, and they just looked like they were totally demoralised with that second goal. I didn't get enough of a sight of the Langstaff penalty shout that followed. People online tell me it looked like a very strong penalty shout. I haven't seen enough of the screen to say one way or the other, but we don't get those kinds of decisions.
I mean, we know we get the Cooper thing every corner he gets chucked down. But that's centre-half.
And Langstaff, rugby league tackled who's been gripped onto, not in that incident, but in others. So we're not going to get it, unfortunately.
But the centre-half, every time the ball went up to Coburn, the centre-half was pushing Coburn over or grabbing his arm and pushing him, and his shirt was coming off. And,
that seems to be tolerated.
Yeah. I thought he had a good game last night, actually, Coburn.
He did. As a target man, he was everything. I mean, I'm not slagging Ivanovic. He's not a target man. Coburn is a target man in the tradition of Paul Moody and others that we've seen over the years, and Morrison to some extent, that you can aim a ball at, and it was sticking last night, and he was flicking it on into spaces. Played very, very well. I really liked Camille Negley last night, Graham. I thought it was one of his better games as well.
Yeah.
It was a top to bottom performance. The third goal was a nice persistence by Tristan Kramer to again get another nod back.
Yeah.
It was a free kick forwards, wasn't it? And he's nodded it back into the path of Jake Cooper, who slotted it in like a pro, like a goal sniffing pro, and that in the net 3-0. And then, of course, they had a second yellow card and took him down to 10 minutes.
Going back to Jake Cooper in the first half, there was a ball played up to him, and he took it on the chest, brought it down, and played it out wide. And I thought, you've seen it all now. Jake Cooper taking balls on his chest.
I wasn't in the 1885 club listeners. I hadn't had my English sparkling wine and Stella Artois mix that I'd had on a Saturday, but I thought for one moment we had Johan Cruyff out there playing, only elongated into Jake Cooper from Reading rather than Rotterdam, wherever it was Cruyff came from. No, beautiful. I mean, great. He's a mainstay. I mean, there's always, even now, I was reading on X, and I can't remember who said it, but there's a dispute over how good is Jake Cooper, and I think I've evolved my views of Jake. I used to think he was a bit of a not a comic figure, but the size of him and the fact that he was in it didn't look elegant, but he's really built on his game, and I think increasingly I'm of the view now that he is, if not the best, one of the best defenders in the division. He don't get the plaudits. I think probably it's that ungainly size of his that just draws the eye away to the elegant, perhaps Frenchmen or other nations. If you come from Reading, maybe you don't get that kind of adulation. I don't know.
I think also he's grown into the role as captain and all, I think, this season.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk, he don't shout, he don't do this, but you watch him, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he has definitely grown into that role as the skipper this season.
Yeah, hats off to him. 3-0, as I just said, second yellow card for their their player Solis, John Solis at 50. They had nothing he left in the tank after that. It was knock the ball about and hopefully damage limitation. And I think we also took the view, probably from the bench, save your energy for Saturday, because we've got 3 points in the bag there, 3 goals. And we've got a tough trip to Preston on Saturday to manage as well, Graham. So rest of the game was played out in a very relaxed vibe. It was wonderful evening at the Den. Marred only by the posse of French youth that I had in front of me in Block 1. I had some kind of, I don't know what they were, like street youth assistance project or something. They stuck them all in Block 1. And one to his eternal folly, I thought one of them was going to get filled in at one point. He decided to sling a beer. He got a beer into the ground and chucked it in the air, Euro style. And a bloke, I thought was going to flatten the kid. But I think it was only the fact they were clearly under the age of 16, these kids, that prevented it from turning into open fisticuffs, But that's the price of international support sometimes, Graham. They were more concerned with mucking about amongst themselves than watching the game. But as we get nearer and nearer the Premier League, I'm afraid we're going to get more of this kind of tourist market in the Den. On the one hand, I understand the logic of selling seats and tickets to non-Millwall fans, but I get very, very protective of my little bit of block 1 there, don't you? I mean, I think we have to. One of the big adjustments will be, if we get to the Premier League round, that adjustment that you belong to a global audience suddenly. Not sure we're psychologically cut out for it at the Den. I question. I think I was, but I don't think I am actually after last night.
Well, all I get from people like mates of mine who support other teams is that they want us to come up just to, how will the Premier League deal with us?
I don't know. I keep saying I don't know who's least prepared for it: Millwall Football Club and its facilities, or the Premier League, to import this kind of 1985 throwback into their beautiful sanitised global money making experience. I think we have to be realistic about what it's going to mean. It will have an impact on us. the international fans that you're going to get in the ground they come in, they spend. So I can't knock them. I'm not knocking them, but I could do without the special needs youth projects coming in, Millwall, if you're listening. They really didn't fit in last night. Anyway, I felt like telling one boy to pull his trousers up. He had his arrows hanging out. He had his jeans hanging around his arrows. Oh, bloody old Graham. Anyway, it was a lovely night. Magnificent night for football and a magnificent win. And Graham, it leaves us decidedly in third place in the table now, 9 points clear of 7th position. So playoff football is very much within our grasp.
That's why.
And, still the top two aren't that far in front of us. 4-point gap to Middlesbrough. Do you dream of such things, Graham?
I do.
I still close your eyes at night. Do you dream of that 4-point gap?
I do think the top two, I know I might be talking crap, but I do think the top two is still an option. I do. Middlesbrough have dropped points in the week. They drew at home with Oxford.
I watched them. Gary Rowett's got
Leicester, wasn't it? Leicester, yeah.
Leicester. Yeah. And Gary Rowett, I think, has got Leicester well organised. They lack firepower in front of goal, I thought, but as a team, they didn't look like relegation fodder. They held Middlesbrough quite well, I thought. So they dropped points there. All we can do is go to places like Preston and Hull, and if we can get a win there, we keep the heat on them, don't we? We keep the pressure on them. That's all we can do, Graham.
I think Alex Neil said after the game, I think he did say that we've got the hardest running because we've got to go away to Ipswich, Preston, Hull,
Middlesbrough. Got to go to Middlesbrough. That won't be a 3 o'clock kickoff. Kids out there as well. That will be almost certainly moved on the Good Friday, isn't it? I can't see him leaving that as a 3 o'clock kickoff, but we shall see nearer the time. No, we do have a hard run-in, but I think in that perverse Millwall way, Graham, unless it's a hard run-in, we don't respond. I mean, have a look at Portsmouth on Saturday. Seemingly easy game. If you
no good for us, easy games.
No good. We've got to have our backs to the wall, be fighting for our lives.
Yeah.
And then we produce. We did last night. Let's hope we can do it again from Saturday onwards.
You just mentioned it, that the gap's 9 points. When you looked at after Tuesday's games, I'm thinking we've got to get a win tomorrow night because it was closing up again, wasn't
it? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, 12 games to go. You've got to go back to 2001-2 I don't think we were decidedly. We were in third position, I think, under McGee. That's probably about as close as I can think of. Whether it matches exactly, I don't know. But that's the best opportunity. This is the best opportunity since then, 25 years. So, we have to make the most of it. Alex Neil, speaking after the game, said that there was a bit of an overreaction to the defeat on Saturday, I think, or words to that effect. I think he implied it. It's in our nature to overreact to defeats and victories, Graham.
Yeah.
It's bipolar Millwall.
Yeah. I mean, I come out Saturday and I said, hopefully it's a blip. And they've gone in last night and proved it was a blip because they were on it from the first whistle last night. And
absolutely. Soft to the Millwall side last night. A really entertaining Millwall night. Exactly what we want to see at the Den, and whatever becomes of our season. Nights like that are what we go there for, Graham.
Yeah, definitely, Nick. 100%.
Magnificent stuff. Listeners, stay tuned. We've got plenty of voicemails after the messages. Of course, I want to say a big thank you, Graham Payne. Thanks for joining me, mate.
Cheers, Nick.
Let's be completely honest. Are you happy with your job? The fact is, a huge number of people can't say yes to that. Too many of us are stuck in a job we've outgrown or one we never really wanted in the first place. But we stick it out and we give reasons like, what if the next move is worse? And I've put years into this place. And maybe the most common one, isn't everyone miserable at work? But there's a difference between reasons for staying and excuses for not leaving. It's time to get unstuck. It's time for strawberry.me. They match you with a certified career coach who helps you get from where you are to where you want to be, either at your existing job or by helping you find a new one. Your coach helps clarify your goals, creates a plan, and keeps you accountable along the way. Go to strawberry.me/career and get 50% off your first coaching session. That's strawberry.me/career.
Achtung, Millwall. Sit down. Sit down. You're fucking irritating. Sit down. Or go down there or fuck off. I don't care. All right, understand this, mate. You're fucking irritating. Sit down. Fucking hell.
Welcome back, dear listeners. That little clip I've just played there was actually from what you might call the cutting room floor. I didn't include it in my usual, in-game stream of consciousness the other night. And I'm including it now kind of after a bit of thought and a bit of consideration, really. And I don't include it for the obvious humorous reasons. We had in Block 1 on Wednesday night, after that magnificent win over Birmingham City, we had a group of French, I don't know what they were youths, aged probably around 15-ish, I guess, and there's probably a group of about 20, maybe 30 of them. I don't know what kind of group ticket deal the club had done there, and I want to say from the very, very start that the bulk of the French kids were watching the game and were partaking in the enjoyable aspects of the match. 3-0 win for the Lions. So I'm not going to. This doesn't include everyone, but that little sequence I just played you is a consequence of and it will be a problem with the whole touristic trade of people coming into the Den who A, aren't Millwall fans in the home sections I'm talking about, and B, are there for reasons other than football. I think these kids were bored by the second half on Wednesday night. Fell away a little bit. We were 3-0 up, Birmingham down to 10 men, and the game went into a lull. Everyone who's a football follower understands that games go in sequences. So they started mucking about, basically poking each other like the comedy style, hitting each other on the head. And they were lurching all over. One bloke to my right was told him to sit down a few times, and they were kind of leaning over him at one point, trying to do mock fighting. That kind. No, nothing violent, nothing horrendous, but they weren't paying attention to the game. I've read online since that one of them threw a beer in the air when the third goal went in. I believe it was the third goal. And my point here is in incidents like that, where you're chucking a beer like you're at Euro, fan zone or something like that, it's going to lead to problems. And Millwall is a kind of club, I do not believe us to be a fundamentally, out of control support, but there are people there that will stand their ground. You and me have been around the track many, many times, dear listener, haven't we? We all know the score at the Den. I call myself a pretty reasonable bloke, Millwall fan, but I don't go looking for problems. And, if I can avoid getting involved in anything at the football, I will go a long way to get out of the way of it. Equally, I'm not a mug. And when you got kids, the incident I've just played was where one kid was standing up on his seat right in front of me and mucking about with his mates standing behind, paying absolutely zero attention to the game. I don't know if anyone was in charge of this group. I don't know what it was all about. It looked like some kind of youth turnout from the Parisian kind of banlieue suburbs. And they were just causing irritation to all around us. And that led to that little sequence. Now, my point I'm driving at is if I can get fucked off, there'll be plenty in the Den that will get with a lot less shorter fuse, a lot less toleration for situations like that. And that's going to be a problem. It's the downside of the touristic market. And I include it really in conjunction with an article that's actually been sent to me by Steve Bowler. I want to send a big shout out to Steve Bowler, who sent me an article relating to ticket prices in the Premier League, the prices of the big six. I think the highest one, speaking from memory, I've just looked at it from memory, the highest per match price, I think was Arsenal at £89, listeners, to watch an Arsenal match. The cheapest of the big six, I think, was Manchester City, was coming at about 58 quid. And then the other big six, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Spurs, it's between those two figures. But so it's an expensive business. Now, presuming that we get promotion, if not this season, soon, and that's the intention of the club, that will have an impact on ticket prices. Harry was talking about this in a previous edition. And whether we like it or not, there will be some level of, capacity set aside for tourism. Now, whether that's going to include my mates from the French Youth Club, that the posse that were in Block 1 the other night, I don't know. But there is friction between established supporter groups. I include myself, been going for donkey's years. The blokes around me in Block 1, you got no on nodding terms. You probably the same way you sit in the ground, dear listeners. And there it was. So they're farting about. You're going to get the hump with it. We're watching a big game. We've got a lot on the table, and they're paying no attention to the game. No one was in charge of this group. I don't know what the club can do about that, and I'm not pointing the finger of blame or pinning anything on the club, but there is an inbuilt friction in that and a tension. And, for better or for worse, Millwall is a club where old school values still prevail. I'm not sure what the conclusion is of this little piece that I'm doing here, but a combination of being priced out potentially if we get into the Premier League and an influx of non-Millwall fans into Millwall zones, which is what we had on Block 1, could cause problems. And, you've got to be conscious, I've got to be conscious as a Millwall fan that you start getting involved in anything, you're looking at being banned from the club that you've followed for years and for want of a better word, love. But also you're going to get incidents. So there we are. I include it really just, and I thought about whether I should include it or not. I decided to, for better or for worse. Anyway, on now to the voicemails. We're going to kick off with Jim Hackett, and I want to give a big shout out to Jim's dog, Finn. Finn the dog. Jim listens to the show and contributes to the show, but he listens to the show walking Finn. And I'm going to give Finn a shout out. Who do you want to watch now, Finn? Millwall.
Well, Nick, Jim Hackett here after last night's fantastic victory over Birmingham. I thought I'd just ring in with a couple of comments, observations, call them what you want. But I thought what we got last night was what we expected on Saturday and didn't receive. And you've looked at the team, and obviously when it came out, the big shock was that Taylor wasn't involved, and obviously Ryan Leonard coming in. And looking at that, I thought, well, Leonard's not played much this season, but he's never let us down when he's come in, and he took to it straight away. And I'll go on about that in a second or two. But the rest of the team, I think everybody was crying for Barry Bannon to be in, and I think myself included thought he would have got in, and obviously he didn't. And Alex Neil reverted, if you like, to the type and the style of what we've seen previously, with Campbell Negley playing sort of a left-sided player, but also getting around the pitch as well. So everything sort of pointed towards it being a tricky game. Obviously with Birmingham, they're the form team, and as usual we stuff them. But it looked like it was going to be a sort of a real sort of hard game for Millwall and for Birmingham, obviously. And it's always down to how we start. And I thought the first 10, 15 minutes was sort of a bit cagey from both sides, both sort of going for it, but nobody really mattering too much. And then as we were starting to get on top, then with the Kramer give that sort of whatever it was, it wasn't a back pass, and it wasn't a pass to anybody. It was just a ball that was played that didn't go anywhere. And to be fair, Patterson made a fantastic save. And from that moment on, I thought we actually looked brighter. We started getting into Birmingham's faces, and you can go through the whole team and everybody played their part. There wasn't any weakness there. I thought the two fullbacks, when you think it, up till sort of now, it's been Kramer one side, Doughty the left, and all of a sudden the two that came in did a fantastic job. I thought Sturge had a magnificent first half, and you could see we got what we always want with him, And I do think with Zach Sturge, he needs to come out of the team every now and then just to remind him that he's got all that in his locker, because when he comes back in, he always performs very well. And Ryan Leonard did fantastically well. It didn't matter what it was during the game. He didn't get phased. He just put himself in there and obviously took that lad out with his shoulder injury. And he doesn't complain. He just gets on with it, does exactly what he's there. And if anything, he's the better defender than Kramer. The difference being that Kramer going forward with the ball is a lot more dynamic than Ryan Leonard. But I was quite happy with Leonard there. If he stayed there for the rest of the season, playing like that, I'd be quite comfortable. And then inside in, the two centre-backs were fantastic last night. Kramer, and he got man of the match, and, it was a toss-up between him and Femi getting it, but, he got it, and why not? Two assists, a goal, and he just looked so accomplished all the time, and the space he got in the second half to go forward and push on with the ball was brilliant. So happy with him. Happy with Jake Cooper, because he came in for a bit of flack after the weekend. It's back to that thing, if he doesn't play well, the team doesn't play well, and there might be something in that, but I just think with him, he's just a rock when he's like that. And for us yesterday, he was right on top. And then go across the midfield, I think I've already said about Aziz and Negley back to doing what they do best. And, Negley now, he's got to be in the team every week. When you watch him play the way he played last night, he was everywhere. The only thing he let him down last night was finishing. I mean, if he could have buried that one just towards the end, what a fantastic performance he'd have walked off with. Not that he didn't play badly, didn't play well, but I think you know what I mean. And then Femi, he was back to doing what he can do. The goal he scored, the trickery, the problems he caused them throughout the whole game when he was on the pitch, and brilliant. And then inside him, Casper and Billy, I think that the criticism they got after the weekend, I think, seemed to sort of hit a nerve with them, and they were all over the shop. And it was nice to see him getting the ball, using it well, and not being frightened to pass forward, but also take it in tight situations and ensure we keep hold of it. And then going forward from them, I thought Langstaff, it could be argued that Langstaff was the reason why we played so well last night. The energy he brings to everything, and just loves getting stuck in, buzzing around the place, and it seems to revolve. Well, it seems to rub off on everybody else, but it revolves around him because he's the starting point for a lot of it. And if that's true, then fine. He didn't look out of place last night. He got 90 minutes, so I think he'll be happy with that. And it's keeping him in the club looks to be a masterstroke from Alex Neil, and it's going to pay off in some of these games, because we do want that energy. And then go forward, Josh Coburn, the only thing lacking for him last night, I think, was a goal, because the rest of the time he led the line well. He got on the end of stuff. He made sure that he put himself around, and he got some free kicks last night for a change. So overall, when you look at that team last night, the way they fought for each other and the way they fought, obviously, for the fans and everything else that went with it, it wasn't a banana skin last night. Birmingham were a team that everybody's talking about, making that push, and they hadn't lost since the new year. So well done, everybody. I think we came off the pitch looking like we'd actually done a number on them, and it was lovely to see. Now we go on to Preston at the weekend, and let's see where we go. But I think that Alex Neil was tinkering. Every time he sort of tinkers and then goes back to what he knows, the players seem to get a lot more joy out of it, and the results seem to prove that. So on to Preston on to Saturday. So come on, you Lions.
Following the dire performance against Portsmouth, most fans, and no doubt the manager, demanded a reaction. And boy, did we get it. Birmingham City arrived on an unbeaten run and left in shreds after Millwall dissected and decimated them. But for a while, it didn't look as though it would be our night. It wasn't that the visitors were playing particularly well. It's just that whilst we looked dangerous, we just couldn't get that ball into the net. However, we persevered, and thanks to goals from Femi and Kramer, both of them pretty good goals, we led 2-0 at the break. Could they keep up the momentum after? Absolutely. Jake Cooper netting a third. But the score was almost irrelevant. It was the manner in which it was achieved, and that manner was one of total dominance. When was the last time Millwall played Ole football, each pass bringing a resounding cheer from the 16,000-plus crowd? Everyone in the team put in a shift and deserved the adulation of the Den crowd. Now they must keep it up as we move forward. Each game from now on looks like a six-pointer, a cup final as we move onwards and upwards. Come on, you Lions.
What a difference a day makes, 24 little hours, brought the sun and the flowers where there used to be rain. Whoa, pulsating, reassuring win against against the Brum after the very poor showing at Pompey. But that was another day. After the Pompey game, I asked, are we good enough? Yes, this doubting Dave is back in his box. These are the days we live for. 4 points, team selection, spot on. 2 solid fullbacks after our Crammer and Doughty were all a bit iffy against Pompey. Didn't bring Barry Bannon, who I thought should play, but the 2 midfielders were fantastic. And he brought Langstaff in to provide the press and help Coburn, and that was significant. Number 2, team attitude. This team was under pressure from everybody, even the fans, and they reacted in the best way. There's really something special this season about this group of players. Long may it happen. 3 players. I had 3 almost equal men of the matches. First, obviously, Crammer, who got it from the sponsors. 2 assists and a goal from a defender after 2 or 3 relatively poor games. What an astounding comeback. Equally man of the match, I had Sturge. He kept Vicente quiet, who's been very good since he joined Brum in January. And he did really good attacking support to Negley, which is, I suppose, what Doughty does. And finally, third equal man of the match was Aziz, back to his best. So important. And he had a smile on his face, which was nice to see. They were the 3 men of the matches. 2 other players I want to quickly mention. Langstaff, structurally very important. He does the press, and that was quite important. And he helps the striker, it be Coburn and Ivanovic. You can see that they've got someone to play with. And the 5th player was Mr. Millwall, Lenny. 3 crunching tackles through the night, 3 times the physio had to come on to a Brummy player. He brought the steel that was clearly missing against Pompey, and really good inclusion. That's about it then. So 9 points off 7th. We are looking good. Oh, the other point I want to mention is the referee. I thought he's the best we've had this season. Didn't give yellow cards willy-nilly. If there was players play acting, he said there were fair tackles and moved on. And he was excellent. He only missed Langstaff's shirt pulling for the penalty. But anyway, we are looking fantastic. Come on, you Lions!
Right, Nick, it's Lawrence Binnie here calling after Millwall 3, Birmingham City 0. Couldn't watch today's game live, or the Portsmouth game. I was in Florida, and we put in the sort of performance that would make me want to throw my head into the mouth of an alligator, which is very dangerous because at my in-laws' house, they do back onto a lake which is filled with alligators. I couldn't make today's game because I was jet lagged and a bit poorly. Very, very, very pleasing response to that shit show over the weekend. It was kind of like the inverse of everything that the Portsmouth game was. I thought we were very slow and very lethargic against Portsmouth. We were quick and intense tonight. I really wasn't entirely sure what Birmingham City's game plan was. They seem to not realise that we're a side who likes pressing other teams, and their whole the whole premise of their football just seemed to be play it slowly around at the back and wait for us to win the second balls, which we duly did. It's nice watching us when the football works. It's very chaotic. We don't tend to score many goals through flowing moves, but blimey, we scare the life out of defenders with our running and our physical presence up top. Overall, just a really, really, really solid performance, I thought, and a really, really huge result going into the next 2 away games against Hull and Preston, because it means that no matter what happens now, we will be in the playoffs just in time for 2 really big home games against Derby and Blackburn. Obviously Aziz and Kramer are going to get the plaudits, and rightly so. I imagine that will be the top 2 for our player of the season. But again, I was so impressed by Camille Negley, his running, his tracking back, his intelligence on the ball as well to keep the attack moving. Bad miss rather towards the end, but I think he's for me at the moment, he is the first name on a team sheet when it comes to that midfield at least. I also want to give mentions and dispatches to Zach Sturge, who I thought brought a lot of energy, especially in that first half, to our attack, supporting from a left-back role. And also Josh Coburn, who I know he has the rather unfortunate chant of he's a big fucking lamppost, but he did perform that lamppost role really well tonight. I thought he held the ball up really, really well, and I think was unlucky not to score in the first half. He would be starting over Ivanovic for me, who I think got some, I think, slightly out of order stick from Danny Baker, a man who has been around for a long time and should know better, that you don't dig our players out like that, especially not publicly. But he didn't have he's not having a great time of it at the moment, I don't think. But he's young, and he's learning. I just hope he gets the rest he needs, and he can fire us maybe towards the top 2 in the final 10 games of the season. Anyway, I'm rambling because I'm slightly ill, so apologies for this becoming incoherent. Probably a good time to finish up. But yeah, looking forward to Preston. Not a free hit, because I think we're have an outside chance of top 2, even though I don't think it's a realistic one. But even if you disregard top 2, I think 3 points on Saturday pretty much confirms our playoff spot, which is kind of amazing when you think we still have more than 10 games left of the season to play. All right, Nick, hope you're all well. Hope everyone else who's listening as well. We're nearly at spring, nearly over this fucking miserable season of weather, that is. Come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.
Hi Nick, it's Martin Colwell here. Hope you're well. I didn't leave a message after the Portsmouth match because I couldn't think of anything to say positive, so I thought I'd just leave that one. But yeah, different story against Birmingham, wasn't it? We came out the traps flying, really got into them, and they looked a bit off the boil like we did on Saturday. We caught them cold, really, didn't we? Had some chances. Could have been 5-0 up at half time, really. Excuse me. But yeah, at least we took 2 of those chances, both really good goals. Liked Tristan Kramer playing at centre half again. He looked much more involved in the match. He was not so wide and getting down the middle. And that's not to say Caleb Taylor shouldn't play at all, because I've put him up as man of the match a few times recently. So, but I think the centre-half position suits Kramer better. Thought Negley was buzzing about well, apart from the final ball. And I thought Jake Coburn gave us a bit more impetus as the ball went forward. But yeah, great half. I was a bit worried at half-time that we were only 2 up, because you know what it's like. At 2-0, the opposition can get a goal back and it becomes a different story. But we did the killer, didn't we, in getting the 3rd goal quite quickly. And then the sending off as well just meant that basically the game was over, after that. And we cruised through. Really liked Zach Sturge coming back into the team with that bit of pace. And he's also a good footballer. I know people rave over Alfie Doughty, but, I've been critical of Doughty before about his lack of just pace, really. And against wingers in the Championship, he does get caught out. And the same probably goes for Ryan Leonard on the right, although he didn't seem to have any bother, because they were coming down the right, weren't they, with the ginger Italian guy. But yeah, I'm a bit worried about Ryan Leonard out there. I think in terms of defending, Danny Mack is better, but going forward, Ryan Leonard is the better player. But yeah, nice cruise through second half. Got Bannon on, got to take off the players. The one player I worry about is the Serb, Ivanovic. He seems lost, doesn't he? Doesn't know what to do, doesn't know where to go, doesn't know what to do when he gets the ball. And with Jake Coburn's injury record, that's worrying as we go into the runoff, because it's going to get really tight now up there. And we're only 3 points off second, and we need to push for that. And that's my one worry about missing Coburn and having to play Ivanovic as a centre-forward, which he can't play. Ivanovic is kind of a striker, a goal scorer. He's not a centre-forward. That's not his game. It's just because he's tall. People think that, he's going to be good in that position, but he's not. He's too weak. But yeah, up to stay third, 3 points off Middlesbrough. We've gone a little bit shaky, so that's good. Very nice. And let's kind of push on. I want to see Zach Sturge stay in the team because he gives us that bit of pace. And he's also a skillful footballer down that left wing, and we need that. Still unsure about the left wing position, really. That seems to be a position that no one can fill. I know Watson came on, and perhaps he'll come on as the season goes on. But we need an attacking threat down that left as well because, Portsmouth doubled up on Femi and he was out the game mostly on Saturday. And he was obviously much more in the game where Birmingham really didn't pick anyone up, did they? Bit surprised they left a couple of players on their bench. Damari Gray, and there was another one who came on and I thought must have been their first 11 because I thought some of their players were pretty poor, but there you go, not worried about that. We're well clear of Southampton now in 7th. I think we've got a 9-point jump on those, so looking good for the playoffs. Probably need 6 wins at the games and that's it, all done. But yeah, looking forward to that. Roll on Preston. Always a tough game up there. Not a nice place to go, but we just need to roll up our sleeves, get stuck in, avoid injuries, and continue to work hard and push on and play on the break. So, come on you Lions.
Morning Nick, it's Hassan here. Nick, I've changed my mind. Last night was the biggest result of the season so far. I think I've said that 2 or 3 times so far. Especially this year. What a result, what a performance and reaction from the disappointing defeat against Portsmouth on Saturday. To a man, we systematically tore them apart. I think we shocked them about on how we put ourselves about, how we approached the game. We were dominant in all areas of the pitch. We won that midfield battle, which I thought was key. We could see that Birmingham, going into the game, I was really worried. I've got to be honest. I thought we would struggle, personally. I watch a lot of the Championship, all the other teams, highlights and whatnot, and they've got a lot of skillful players. They spent money, big money, all around the world buying players. I know their fullback came from the American League. Their winger, Carlos something or another, he come from the Spanish league. They've got a lot of tidy players, and we completely shut them out. Their game plan is clearly to try and play out the back, and even down to 10 men, they're still doing it. And we just stopped them from playing. The only time they got a sniff on goal, it was a mistake from one of our boys. I think Colwell, excuse me, forgot he was playing centre back last night. He tried to play the ball back to someone who wasn't there, and they had a shot on goal. Patterson done the only thing he did all night, was just save the ball. And that was a good save. It was a key moment because if that goes in, then the game could have been completely different. But hats off to the boys. I mean, who do you pick for man of the match? Every single one. I thought everyone was fantastic. Just quickly go through the team. Hassan, one save, nothing to do. I thought Zach Sturge was immense last night. He was good going forward. He was good defending. He kept their tricky winger quiet. Cooper and Kramer look like, again, they've been playing with each other for a very long time. Kramer was so versatile between centre back and right back positions, and he was back to his best last night. Probably man of the match, as he had a hand in all 3 of the goals, assisted 2, scored 1 as well. So well done to him. Ryan Leonard, he's like a fine wine, isn't he? Hasn't played. Well, fell out of the side when he got injured against Oxford, I believe, away. hasn't got his place back. Kramer's been playing right back. Fantastic. You know, he done what he could going forward. He was solid defensively. He does what Ryan Leonard does. You know, no bullshit. You know, just hard work and effort. And he played really well last night. Casper and Billy back to their best, especially Casper. Fantastic last night. He was bossing that midfield with Billy Mitchell. They didn't get a sniff either of them. And again, prior to the game, there was a lot of conversation about, does Casper drop out for Bannon, etc. Blah blah blah. I think last night showed why Casper and Billy are the first choice centre midfielders. I thought Negley was immense as well. He put himself about. Should have got a goal, but I think we're starting to see him grow now in this team, and you know, you can't fault him for effort. You know, Alex Neil said that he was one of the hardest runners in the side. I think I saw it most last night. He was everywhere. He was absolutely everywhere, and you can see what a skillful player he is. And just needs he unfortunately couldn't get a goal last night. Aziz, well, what can you say about Aziz? He's a match winner, isn't he? You know, when he's confident, when he's got confidence flowing through him, he's unstoppable. That first goal was fantastic. The way he just plucked it out of the air, put it in the far corner. The free kick. My dad said to me, he was next to me, he goes, he's going to shoot from this. He's full of confidence. There's no reason why he can't score. You know, I got a feeling that the goalkeeper put it onto the post, so that was going in. But that's all from Aziz's hard work. Kramer does well with the follow-up. You can see why we missed Coburn the other night. He absolutely battered their back line. He got fouled all over the place. But what he does hold that ball up well. He allows others to come forward, you know. And, I mean, Macaulay Langstaff does what Macaulay Langstaff does. He's not the most skillful player in the world. He's not the most technical. But you can't, no matter what level of football, you can't substitute a player who will just run his socks off, disrupting play, especially in this modern game where it's all about retaining possession and finding space. And let's face it, Langstaff, it was a game plan, it worked. Alex Neil got it tactically spot on last night. Between Langstaff, Dinor, Mitchell, they shut down their midfield and their defence and stopped them from playing out the back. And they didn't know what to do. You know, at one point, you know, I think a combination of Langstaff, Negley, Dinor, Mitchell, they were hunting down their players like a pack of wolves. It was fantastic to see. And you know, I hate Birmingham, by the way, but to their credit, at times they did find their way out of really tight pockets, you know. But if we didn't do that, they would have done to us what they did to us back in October when they beat us 4-0. We gave them so much space in that game. That's why they put 4 past us. But I'll wrap up now. Great result, great reaction, and also it's a nod to all the other teams in the league to say, do you know what? We're still here. We're still fighting. After last night, everyone won around us. Ipswich, Hull, Wrexham are coming up. So it was a very important to get 3 points last night, and what a way to do it. So yeah, great night. Probably a night to remember, if anything. But yeah, let's keep going, boys. Let's keep going. Cheers, mate.
Well, Nick, you know, a total turnaround from Saturday, wasn't it? It was all on the front foot. And when Birmingham had possession of the football, we were either right in their faces or right up their arse. Everyone was up for this. And I know Femi and Kramer were quite rightly sharing man of the match plaudits, but I want to give a big shout out to Zach Sturge, who had a superb game. And along with Macaulay Langstaff, gave us some much needed energy, which was missing from our last game at the weekend, you know. And then more sensible substitutions as ever from our head coach to manage the game and see it out without any drama. What a magnificent team effort. What a relief after Pompey took the piss. Before the game, I actually spoke with Merv Payne in the Lord Nelson on the Isle of Dogs, of all places. And we were quite a bit concerned about perhaps we might have been starting to have a wobble, almost a feeling of foreboding. But when you win a 6-pointer like that, And what a difference it makes to the league table right now. And to put on that performance in front of the highest midweek gate in years. 5 wins now required, in my thoughts, to secure a playoff place. Let's get one up at Deepdale. Come on, you all.
One Nick, Rob Abbott. Morning after a 3-0 home victory over Birmingham. Firstly, I'd like to say people need to trust Alex Neil. He's no mug, is he? He knows what he's doing in this division. They've got to realise what he has done since he's joined us. The amount of people that were moaning online on Twitter prior to that game about our team selection, but as he says, he always picks a team to try and win the game. Okay, so we had Patterson in goal. He made one excellent save, only one he really had to do, so fair play to him. But with Taylor injured, the only option we really have at the back is to bring Brian Leonard in. People were moaning he was starting, but he's a very good championship right back, and he's proven this, but he hasn't played a lot, but come in, did a really good job. Kramer then had to shift to centre-back, and this guy's a freak, hey? Like, he's in our top 3 players of the year, in my opinion, playing out of position, and then you put him into his natural position as centre-back, and yeah, phenomenal performance. Cooper looked assured beside him. I think most people knew or thought that Sturge would start. He had an exceptional game. He would have been in the running for man of the match, albeit only if he didn't go off after 70 minutes. Midfield 2, Billy and Casper looked energised. They were winning the second balls. They were pressing. They were hounding. The Birmingham lads didn't give them a sniff. Negley was absolutely everywhere yesterday. Aziz put in a special performance, didn't he? And then, yeah, we missed Coburn at the weekend. Him and Ivanovic are different strikers, aren't they? Like, Coburn's 21 years old, but his strength and his ability to hold the ball up, occupy 2 centre-backs and bring the others players into play is phenomenal. He was outstanding last night and complemented by Langstaff alongside him. Langstaff, like Negley, ran all day, appeared everywhere, put pressure on them, kept it simple when he's got the ball. And overall, brilliant 3-0 win. Really good to have the quality on the bench to bring on as well. Bringing on Doughty, who we know is a Premier League quality player when he's on it. Bringing on Tom Watson, bringing on Bannon, bringing on Ivanovic, like 4 quality players we're bringing on the bench onto the pitch there. And then also good to get McNamara a run out because he might be needed in the next few games, what with Taylor potentially injured. So overall, massive up, 4 points off second place, 12 games to go. More importantly, it's a 9-point gap to 7th. Prior to the Pompey game on Saturday, that was only a 7-point gap. So yes, we were very disappointed with the performance and loss on Saturday, but we've extended that gap in the space of 4 days to 9 points. So look, on to Preston. Let's hope we can get some momentum going here and close the gap on Middlesbrough. Take it easy.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Achtung, Millwall.
Nico, Bobby J. Fucking hell, mate. Talk about redeem ourselves. Fucking quality, Millwall. Where do I begin? Alex Neil, mate. You know more than me. We wanted changes and we fucking got changes. Right? I wanted Barry Banner to start, but anyway, fuck all. Alex, you know best. I don't pick today. What do I know about football? All I know is the football business game results, and I feel sorry for Taylor, for me, getting dropped and all that, but fucking Alex Neil, yeah, your team, you changed it. My club, I fucking love it. Now listen, changes were needed. I mean, Zach Sturge, fucking, he's our number 1 left back. Sorry, Alfie, mate. You know, a bit laid back. You're a Millwall fan, but Zach Sturge, Chelsea, born and bred, fucking, for me, our left back number 1. Now look, Kramer, fucking hell, French Riviera, for me, honestly,
Centre back, maybe his role unfair on Taylor, as I said, and then Patterson. Fuck me, Patterson. Now I know. All lost on Saturday. We redeemed ourselves. Patterson, quality. Did you see the fucking save on 26 minutes? Jay Stanford gave him the eye, whatever. Blinding save round the fucking quality. Patterson, you are number one. Do you know what? On this podcast, Nick Hart, Bobby T saying how it is. We are in the hunt for second. But listen, I tell you who's a fucking nuisance. Little Macaulay Lamstaff. I've said he's not good enough. Oh, he's not a striker, League One, whatever. I am fucking wrong. He's a nuisance and I fucking love him. Macaulay, if you're listening, fuck me. You run everywhere. You got passion. You just everywhere. You're in the box. You try. You got Millwall heart. And I fucking love you. I want to keep you. And that's it, basically. For me, that's it. You know what? There's no man of the match, Tristan Crammer, right? Yeah. Every single fucking one of you. Every single one of you. Job done. They beat us 4-0. Payback time, you brummy scum. And that's it. What else more can I say? Bobby T signing off. Millwall 3, Brum 0. Me, Bobby T, love you all. Bobby T here one more time. I ain't going to finish. When is the last time two fucking defenders, two big lumps, centre-backs scored the goal? And you know what? Aziz, well, I'm fucking telling you, you are different gravy, mustard. He is the key. Femi is the difference. He's £20 million plus, right? We are going up. I'm telling you, we are catching second. Bye for now, Bobby T. I'm so happy. It just shows you in a week the crowd was fucking non-existent, shit attendance, but we turned up and we redeemed ourselves from Saturday. We go again on Preston. I'm Bobby Happy T. Bye for now, Bobby T.
Hello, Nick. Mark Willoughby here. Don't usually call in after home games, but just had to after last night's magnificent win at the Den against Birmingham. Before the game, as we were travelling down in the car, we were having a chat, and one of the things that we were saying was that the defenders had been out doing the midfielders this year with their goals and assists, and so it proved, with Crammer banishing a rare bad performance on Saturday with 1 goal and 2 assists, no less, for a well-deserved man of the match, despite strong shouts for that accolade from Negley and Coburn, who showed great strength and some great touches in what I thought was his best game for Millwall so far. It was a great team performance, but the other mention from my perspective is Langstaff, tireless running again, making a pain of himself, and it's just a shame it wasn't rewarded with a goal. Come back to that a bit later. The other thing that we were saying before the game is that despite some fantastic away wins, it's been a while since we gave a dominant, joined-up performance over 90 minutes. We did that as well with an aggressive but measured approach and some great passages of play. The one slight downside for me was the missed chances. It didn't matter because it was we won 3-0, but on another day, those chances might have cost us dear. And there was one in particular at the end with Negley straight through 1-on-1, and he didn't even hit the target. Langstaff and Coburn as well could have and maybe should have scored. So, just a little frustration there that we could have done our goal difference even more good with 5 or 6 goals. But overall, a fantastic game to banish the bad taste from Saturday and head to P&E with confidence. Come on, you Lions.
Nick, it's Matt Richards. Well, I don't know. You just kind of give up trying to even understand or predict what's going to happen at Millwall, don't you? I mean, I don't know why we even bother. That was a great performance. I was worried, just, I don't think a lot of people were worried after Saturday's game, because Birmingham was on such a good run. It just shows you, you just can't tell. You have teams that are struggling down the bottom, and then suddenly they can step up and put in a great performance, and teams that are supposedly, like when we played Wrexham not long ago, top form team, and then we go and end up beating them. So I was looking at the fixtures we've got left for the rest of the season earlier, and then I just thought, Matt, what's the point? It's not like you can predict what's going to happen, because it's just going to be a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? But yeah, it's brilliant night. I think players I'm going to call out, but when you have a team performance like that, you can call out the whole team really. But for Patterson's save was obviously critical, because God love him. I don't know what Tristan Kramer was doing with that dodgy pass back, but brilliant save by Patterson, and great defending by Jake. What a goal by Femi. I mean, how many times this season he just gets us out of a hole with a goal or an assist. It was just top draw. Just when you just thought, we missed quite a few chances before that, or, Coburn's header and just missing crosses. Pulls out a worldie like that, superb. And a brilliant free kick as well. Brilliantly finished by Tristan. So it's, I mean, I'd make Femi my man of the match just because that first goal was so critical, and it was such a good goal. And then obviously he's part in the other two goals. But you can pick the whole team. I thought Zach Sturge was superb, especially first half. He was back to the best of Zach Sturge, really, who we saw last year. He's just athleticism, positivity, his speed, and he's got an old head on young shoulders as well. The ball he flighted in for the first goal was a really good ball. It's a difficult ball to hit, because he's in the centre of the pitch, but he did it brilliantly. So really pleased with Zach Sturge. Josh Coburn, what a centre forward. Yeah, okay, so he missed the odd chance, but his physical presence is because of that. He won a free kick for the second goal, and the third goal, brilliant performance by Josh. We need to wrap him in cotton wool, because we haven't got many other options. I feel a bit sorry for Ivanovic, because he's getting a bit of stick. What is it with us fans? We just love to have a little bit of dig at some players, don't we? I just don't get it really. He's I won't say struggling. He's scored a few goals this season. He scored six goals or something like that, 6 or 7. Just got to back him. He will score goals. But Macaulay Langstaff was just superb as well. He's frustrating, because when he does get chances, he'll miss a few. But his industry, he's a bit like Ben Thompson used to be, a bit like Honeyman used to be. This sort of player who kind of just gets the crowd going by just running, getting stuck in. We love to see that, and we love to see a performance last night. Brilliant, superb stuff. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Tough couple of games coming up now, away to Preston and Hull. But who knows with this team? This team just doesn't give up. When we think we're despondent, and some of the phone calls or phone-ins and podcasts and tweets since Saturday, it's almost as if we've been relegated, the doom and gloom. But that's just, I suppose it's just the life and the mental mind of a Millwall fan, isn't it, really? Don't get too up when you're up, don't get too down when you're down. But this team's got fight and resilience, and we love them, and they're doing brilliant at the moment. Let's just keep it going, and it's just look forward to a couple of tough games, and then some more points on the board. And enjoy it as much as we possibly can. All right, Nick. Cheers, mate. Come on, you ones.
Morning, Nick. Just Adam Wicks here, leaving my thoughts after last night's emphatic 3-0 victory against Birmingham City. Well, that was chalk and cheese from the weekend, wasn't it? Yeah, vastly improved. Puts us in a, incredibly strong position league-wise now. And, hopefully we can go to Preston on Saturday and have a real go at them. And just see what happens. The really good things for me from last night were Aziz looking back to his sort of dominating and imposing self, and they were obviously terrified of him, for rightly so. Leonard slotted in. I thought he was a little bit rusty first 15, 20 minutes. Sort of 3 or 4 times he miscontrolled or lost the ball, but after that he was just very dominant, and he's a really competent player to come in when we need him. I hope there's nothing really going on with Taylor, because he has been excellent, and we could do with having him back in the team, or around the squad for sure, sooner rather than later. I thought Coburn was a handful, and it just shows for me that the sort of style of football we're playing and the way we're set up is more suited to a Josh Coburn than a Mihailo Ivanovic. I think Ivanovic thrives with, those balls played in behind on the ground, or into his feet, where he can control, and his layoffs and his general touch and bringing other players into play when he's got the ball under control is really, really good. What he is not, as a lot of people have alluded to previously, he is not I'm going to physically fight the centre half, and if I don't win the ball, I'm going to make sure he doesn't get a good connection on it and give us that platform, which I think Coburn obviously clearly does very, very well. He is an effective forward, Coburn, and I do like him. I do like him a lot. I think having Langstaff in that little pocket as well, I know he's, and I'm guilty of saying this plenty of times, he hasn't got the quality of a Aziz or a Negley or a Casper, any of these players, but he brings an energy level to the press and the front line that I don't think any of our other players do, actually. And I think he is probably criminally undervalued by a lot of us. And I think he deserves a bit more love than we give him. And I think actually might end up being a relative mainstay in the side for the rest of the season, because we seem to be a lot more effective with him in the side than out of it, just in terms of results and winning games. And I think just lastly, Sturge coming in absolutely solid and is just a really good ball carrier. I think he provides us with a lot more impetus down that left from a sort of dynamic perspective, and Negley just seems to is just growing and growing. Obviously has the odd time where he messes around with the ball in the wrong area, but in general terms his work rate and quality is very, very good, and he's turning out to be a huge asset now. So very happy, and looking forward to seeing what we can do against Preston. Come on, you Lions.
Hello, Nick. It's Barnesy here. Just watched the game. Fortunately, I couldn't get there tonight, which is probably a good thing, because every time I go, we always lose. But anyway, what a performance. Weren't really expecting that. Made a few changes. Leonard come in. Obviously, we lost Taylor, and I was a bit worried. But I shouldn't have worried, because I thought Leonard was excellent. I thought Crammer, flipped back into the central defence brilliantly with Cooper. And and then the man of the moment, Zach Sturge, come in, point to prove, and I thought he was absolutely excellent tonight. I thought Sturge was phenomenal. He had a hand in the goal, and I think just his forward forward running and defensive work was brilliant. And I think, it's a good call taking Doughty out tonight, give him a little bit of a break. But I thought he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I thought we were on the front foot. Yeah, Birmingham started a little bit good in the first 10 minutes, and then we sort of got to grips with them. And then, obviously, I think the game turned with the save from Patterson when Crammer did the under-hit pass back to him, and Patterson got us out of jail. And I think that gave everyone a big boost, because if that goes in, it could be a different game. And I thought that really changed the game for me. And then, obviously, the man of the moment, Aziz, comes up. It was a great little ball in for Zach, wasn't it? And then little header, cushion header from Crammer, and what a finish! He's got that confidence, and to take that strike on, and what a strike! And you could see the weight lifted off his shoulders after that, because he hasn't been playing well. He knows that. And, what a finish! And then, and then obviously the second goal, he has that confidence to take the goal, take the shot from 35 yards out, and what a strike! I think the keeper might got a nick to it. But, we followed up, didn't we? Followed up, and Crammer put it into an empty net. And, 2-0 up at half-time, we're flying. And, it was a very comfortable end to the first half. Second half, we come out, we needed, not give anything silly away. And, and then, the ball goes over to Crammer on the left-hand side. He doesn't give it up, does he? Could have been a corner. No, he comes in and sets his partner up, Cooper. 2 centre-half scoring goals, which is always good to see. And he took it like a proper forward, didn't he? And just slotted it past the keeper. And then obviously the sending off, and then we can make changes. Danny Mack come in, was very, very good. I thought, a very all-round good display by the team. I think Alex Neil maybe got it wrong on Saturday, but tonight he definitely got it right. And this is the beauty of this league, because in 4 days, it was all doom and gloom, and look at us now, we're flying. We're back up and everyone's high again. So we go to the next game away, on a high. It's good to see. Worried about Taylor. I'm not sure what's going on there, because he's a big player for us, but I really felt that, everyone stepped up tonight. Everyone was disappointed after the game, and, Portsmouth. I really expected Birmingham to be a lot better than Portsmouth, and that just didn't turn out, did it? Which is good for us. But, it's amazing how, just 4 days can just change the way of you're looking at the way we play, always looking at how we can improve the team. But, with Banner not playing tonight, I was like, oh my, why is he not playing? But, maybe saving him. But I thought Casper and, Billy are there to try and keep out the team. And I thought they did that tonight, and I thought they were brilliant. But yeah, everyone played so well tonight. But I would have, man of the match for me would be Zach. I know Crammer's got the award, but I think Zach was brilliant tonight. And, he needs to go in that team and, make it hard for someone to, dislodge him. And that's what we want, competition. And that's important. When players look a little bit leggy, bring other players in. And that's what we've got, a big squad now. And that's important for this big running. But what a result, buzzing. And we go again Saturday. So let's continue this run. And come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.
Who do you want to watch?
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.